Welcome to This Week in Golf, and we are going to cover the TGL has wrapped up. LIV Golf has an event this weekend, finally. PGA has an event, and then the Augusta National Women's Amateur, the Masters. Less than a week away. Well, about a week away from the Masters now, and they do a pre-event. They do several, so we'll talk about it all. Let's kick it off. We will speak about TGL. TGL was won, I think, by Atlanta. The Atlanta team, whatever they are, and I don't know their mascot. Anyways, the Atlanta team won, and that's Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, Justin Thomas, and Lucas Glover. And boy, you know, Justin Thomas is having a pretty good year so far. He has been in the top 5, in the top 10 a few times, so maybe his game's coming around a little. And then in this thing, the TGL, he, Cantlay, and Billy Horschel all made $2.6 million. What's that, for 10, 12 weeks probably they were doing it. Lucas Glover did not get as much. He only got $750,000. And they based that all on how often a team member played. So he only played a couple times. Horschel, Cantlay, and Thomas carried the team. I think one of the takeaways I had from it was Billy Horschel is kind of a TV star. He's got some personality. He comes out dancing. He's talking a lot. He ends up kind of being the lightning rod for the team, and really coming through in the clutch. He sinks the final putt, and everybody sees him dancing around when they won the whole thing. But you know, he was a big personality the entire time. And this is all a fallout of LIV and Full Swing and where the PGA is going now as far as trying to market players. I guess they always have been in the marketing of players business, but now they're really going to start doing it as far as getting people on TV and showing personality more than just playing the game. So hats off to those guys. They win. Other payouts, you know, like, let's just go down the list. The lowest man paid out was Matsuyama. He got $200,000. Not even sure if he was on a team or if he just had a one-time deal. Tiger made about $460,000. So there's an entire list of what everybody got paid, and not bad. I mean, for 10 weeks, showing up a couple of times. There is, you know, it's in Florida in the beginning of the season. The PGA is playing in California or Hawaii, so they have to fly all the way back to Florida and play. We don't feel bad for anybody. They have private jets. The guy who owns the Atlanta team, Arthur Blank, I'm sure he has 7 private jets. So no feeling sorry for millionaires, but a pretty good payout. And I don't know if TGL was a success from what they were looking to get out of it from a business perspective, but the final numbers are about 500,000 viewers per episode, and they spiked in the beginning and kind of fell off and, you know, varied from show to show. It was primarily filmed on a Monday and a Tuesday night, so, you know, they had a good television slot on ESPN. They weren't going up against anything on a Monday or a Tuesday night. Football's over, so kind of a good filler type of sport. I didn't get a lot of chance. I watched it at the gym a lot because it was on at 5 o'clock on a Monday night when I'm at the gym. So there we go. The other interesting thing is the average age of the people that watched the TGL was 52. And the average age of PGA Tour viewers on television is 64, so 12 years younger. So they were trending to a younger audience. Now, one interesting thing. PGA and LIV have been in these chats lately. And the latest chat, we're not going to get into it too deep today, but the latest chat that they had was with Trump. And the PGA wants to take over LIV, and they valued LIV at $500 million. That was how they were going to, you know, negotiate and start the deal. Oh, you're worth $500 million, so we'll take you over. I don't know what the ins and outs are, but that's what they valued them at. And so the Saudis and PIF and LIV walked away from the deal because they're like, dude, you guys are crazy. We're worth way more than that. And the reason I bring this up now is because the TGL is looking to get another team slash franchise in Dallas for next year. And there's a group raising $77 million for a 4-person team that's going to play in TGL 10 weeks, 12 weeks, right? So this doesn't jive. If a team in TGL is worth $77 million, then how are 12 teams on LIV worth only $500 million, right? So this is what's going on with LIV. And speaking of LIV and the PGA, they are going head-to-head this weekend. This is the first weekend they're going head-to-head. So this weekend, you have LIV playing in Miami, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on Fox. And then the PGA is playing the Valero Texas Open on NBC Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as they play 4 days. So we will see how they do in the head-to-head. Now, one note is, for whatever reason, LIV is on Fox on Friday. They're on FS1 Saturday, and then they're back on Fox on Sunday. So Fox must have some other event going on Saturday during that same time slot. So the numbers might get skewed a little there. And when they say Fox, I assume they mean channel 2, like, the main channel. We shall see how they do in the head-to-head. And just kind of as a difference of, what both leagues stand for, the PGA has completed 14 events already this year. And LIV has only done 4. This will be their 5th event. So LIV is obviously only doing 14 events all year. The PGA does an event every weekend, and they do a 4-day tournament. LIV does a 3-day tournament. So completely different product. But let's talk about the PGA, because the PGA season is off to a pretty good start. They're having good numbers. They're still down numbers-wise as far as viewership over the last, 3 years ago. But this year is higher than last year, and there's some pretty good stories, The first signature event of the year, Matsuyama wins. He's a popular player. Everybody knows Matsuyama. Ludwig Ahlberg won, up-and-coming player. Minwoo Lee just won, another up-and-coming player from Australia. So, there's a lot of great players that have came out of Australia over the years. So he's one of another and carrying the tradition. So you got your 2 young stars in Ludwig Ahlberg and Minwoo Lee winning. Rory McIlroy has won twice, both signature events, pretty convincingly. And you also have a feel-good story in Victor Hovland. Victor Hovland, 2 years ago, won $32 million. He was the FedEx champ. And last year, he couldn't barely make a cut. He changed his coach. He tinkered with his game. Actually, the story is that he wanted to tinker with his game, and his coach was like, dude, there's nothing wrong. Let's just keep it the way it is. And so either the coach walked away, or Hovland was like, I got to find somebody that will help me tinker. And it was a huge mistake. And this year he went back to his coach, and now he's won again. So look, man, golf's hard. No judgment on these guys. I mean, look at a guy like Max Homa. Where's he been? Can't make a cut. A few years back, he was one of the, top 10 player last couple of years. Now he's fallen off the earth. So it's good to see Hovland back. They got their feel-good story. So, and then now, we got your final PGA event. Let's talk about this really quick as we lead up the Valero Texas Open. Last year won by Akshay Bhatia. Great player, great young player, lefty. So the odds for this weekend, it's not the full signature field, so it's kind of the final event for the Masters. Ludwig Ahlberg is the favorite. Here we'll just read them in order. I'm not going to give you the odds, but Ludwig is the favorite. Tommy Fleetwood, Corey Connors, Cantlay, Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth, Keegan Bradley, Akshay, Denny McCarthy, Siwoo Kim. That's your top 10 favored to win this weekend. And last year, Akshay was a winner, and this year he's plus 2,800. So might not be a bad bet. That is what's happened with the PGA. LIV, let's go to LIV. Again, LIV has completed 4 events so far this year. And in those 4 events, 2 of them have been won by Waco Niemann. Now, all your golf channel people will say, well, Waco Neiman's winning on LIV, but he doesn't play good in the Masters or whatever in the majors. Well, again, man, these guys are only playing 14 events a year, and you know, a lot of people didn't play good in the Masters. I'm not sure if Neiman made the other majors, but he definitely was in the Masters. Okay, so LIV has had 4 events. The first event was in Riyadh, and that was won by Adrian Meronk. Next event was the event in Australia, which was won by Waco Neiman. Then they go to Hong Kong. Sergio Garcia wins in Hong Kong. And then they went to Singapore the following weekend, and Waco Neiman wins again. So Neiman's hot. I would say don't sleep on Sergio at the Masters. We'll see how he does this weekend, but Sergio's been playing pretty good. He's had a couple of top 5 finishes, and I think he's been in the top 10 in all these events, and he won one of them as well. And he won last year. So Sergio's still playing very well. And let's see. Okay, so here's what else is going on with LIV. So LIV is also rolling out a show, and it's called Live to Win, and it comes out on Monday. And it's basically their Full Swing, their version of Full Swing. And I think it's going to be a weekly show, and they're filming it as the season's been going on. So they've been filming it for basically since when was Riyadh? Riyadh, the first event for LIV was in February. So they've been basically filming it since then, and they're going to start rolling it out. And I don't know what the schedule is for how many episodes it's going to be or how long it's going to be out, but it comes out on Monday, and it's called Live to Win. So that's the first thing they're doing. As I said, I've said it on this podcast for years now, LIV has a superior broadcast to the PGA Tour. Well, I don't know about a broadcast, but definitely production. It just looks cooler. The players walk in before the match. It's just cool. It's really cool. That's why a younger demographic is watching it. And, I know a lot of people have been saying, well, no one's watching it. Well, no one's watching it in the United States because they haven't had an event in the United States. And they crushed it in Australia. I was trying to look up the local numbers for Hong Kong and Singapore, but I couldn't find how many people, because that's really what I'm worried about. It's like, oh, no one's watching it. Oh, it's on at 10 o'clock at night. Nobody knows when it's on, number one. So that's a problem. Number two, they don't cover it on ESPN or the Golf Channel or anywhere else. It's like it doesn't exist. That's how they're dealing with it. And so it's on. And then because they're doing these events in Hong Kong and Singapore, they're on in the middle of the night in the United States on FS1, which, dude, does anybody watch cable television anymore? I have it. I actually watched it because it was on right before I went to bed one night. But yeah, I just think their production is superior, and it's a little busy when you watch it. There's a lot of things going on screen, and it can be a little distracting. But once you start watching a little, it's pretty cool. It's fun. Now, on that note, when they do like player entrances to the course, so everybody pulls up in like, a car or a van and then walks through the thing. And so that's why like the intro to the show is really fun and interesting. And this is one thing TGL needs to pick up on, because these guys are like, they need to have a better entrance into the TGL. Like they're walking from the locker room onto the course, we're going to call it. And they're in their, stuff, but they're collared shirts and pants. But they're also doing a little in TGL, these guys actually entering into the arena, and guys are wearing like shorts and t-shirts and stuff. So they need to up their game, the players, and the intros, or the walk into the facility, I guess. The NFL kind of does it. The NBA definitely does it. The WNBA does a really good job with it. So that's, just an area they'll get better at. Now, so LIV is coming out with their sizzle reel for their show, their Full Swing answer, I guess, Live to Win. And now they're also doing this week a Creator Classic. The PGA did something called the Creator Classic a few weeks back at the Players. And what they did was, like, a few days before, they invite like 8 YouTuber, content creator, what do we call those? Influencers, to come. And they played in a little tournament, and they filmed it and blah, blah, blah. So LIV is now doing the same exact thing, but a little better. They're going to actually team up the content creators, 6 content creators, and they're going to pair them with an actual LIV player and play some sort of tournament. I wish I had more information to tell you if it was 9 holes or 18 holes. All I know is it's going to be on this Saturday, which again begs another question. If they're playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then on Saturday they're going to run this Creator Classic, and it's going to be on Grant Hovart's YouTube channel. And I don't know, are they filming it on Saturday? Are they going to play the normal LIV tournament and then film this? Or are they filming it a few days before and it's just going to air on Saturday? Couldn't find out much information about that, so I'm useless to you in this regard. But here are the teams. Sergio Garcia is playing George Bryan. I don't know who George Bryan is. Bubba Watson is playing Luke Kwan. Don't know who Luke Kwan is. They're playing with. These are the teams. Joaquin Neiman is playing with Rich Shields. I do know who he is. He's a YouTuber. Phil Mickelson, Grant Hovart. Grant is obviously, everybody knows who Grant is. The Dustin Johnson, Wesley Bryan. I've heard of Wesley Bryan, but I don't know who he is. I've heard the name. And then Cam Smith is playing with Fat Perez. I know who that is. So I know some of these people. Again, dude, I'm a 50-year-old man. Come on. Like I'm going to know these. But the kids probably do. So that's what's happening with LIV. Let's talk about the Masters. Masters is coming up next week. So we got our final PGA, final LIV event, and then the Masters is next. One thing we do love about the Masters is the superior mobile app, the superior website, the production, everything about it. And this year on the app, which I assume means the website as well, viewers are going to be able to watch every shot of every player that's on the driving range, including swing data, distance, swing speed, wind speed. So looking forward to that. That's pretty cool if you're, I just think that's pretty cool. Like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find some people that I like, that I feel I swing like, and I'm going to watch them swing and look at their numbers. Now, I know I'm never going to get, 200 mile an hour ball speed, but whatever. It'll be fun to watch. So there's that. This weekend is the drive, chip, and putt. So they'll do a little kind of an encore performance of the kids putting and driving and stuff. So that's always fun to watch. And then finally, an event I really love, the Augusta National Women's Amateur. And let's just break this down and I'll tell you how it works. So all amateurs, I don't know how they've all qualified, but it's about half the ladies are from the United States. The other half are from other countries. I think a lot of them probably play college golf in the United States. And it is on Wednesday and Thursday at the Champions Retreat Golf Club, which is in Augusta. So they basically play a 2-day tournament. This is on the Golf Channel. You can watch it. And they'll play the 2 days there. And then they have a cut. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. Then on Friday, all the players, everybody, even the ones that didn't get to make the cut, get to play a practice round at Augusta National. And then on Saturday is the final. And that's just the players that made the cut. So it's kind of nice. I've been saying for a couple of years now, they should just not have a cut and let everybody play at Augusta. But they've made a small concession, I guess, to me. They're going to let the entire field play a practice round. But I do love to watch it. I mean, everybody loves to watch the Masters, and I think it has a lot to do with the course. Obviously, the players, the tradition, blah, blah, blah. But even just seeing the women play on the course is phenomenal. And there's been some great finals over the last several years. So we'll see who comes out on top of that. And that's This Week in Golf. Hey, it's Jeremy Callahan, and thanks for listening to This Week in Golf. Make sure and hit subscribe so you can get all the latest news and analysis from Golf BPM.